If you have been given a question, write the ratios in the simplest form, and you are given this question as 5 is to 15, how would you make this into the simplest form? The answer is simple. 5 and 15 are factors of each other, factors of 5 actually. So therefore, what will happen is that if you want to simplify this into the simplest form, you should divide both sides by 5. Divide both sides by 5. And therefore, you will get the answer. 5 divided by 5 is 1. 15 divided by 5 is going to be 3. 1 is to 3. If I give you another question, simplify me 4 and 16. You must write these ratios in the simplest form. How would you write those? It's again the same thing. What you do is you actually look at what is common. So 4 and 16 are factors of 4. So therefore, if you want to divide, if you want to simplify this, we should divide both sides by 4. And then you would get 1 is to 4. So that's a small recap of the ratios. But today we're going to learn about fractional ratios and how to simplify them. So let's start with the first one. So the first one we have 5 is to 1/3. So you should simplify this in the form of, for an example, 2 is to 3, like this. Okay, you must simplify this into the form of this form. So now how do we do this? What we should do is we should get rid of this 1/3, right? So we should replace another number. But we know that we cannot do that because this is maths. But what we can do is we can manipulate these numbers for our own liking. Let's see how it is done. So 5 is to 1/3. What we should do is we should make this 3 go away. Make this 1/3. I will highlight this and show you. So this 3 should be gone away, and there should be a whole number there. So now what we actually do is we actually multiply, oops, we actually multiply both sides by 3. Wait a second. Multiply both sides by 3. Does it make sense? Now what happens here is that if you multiply both sides by 3, we actually get this denominator of 3 cancelled off. So therefore, we have this answer, 3 times 5 is 15, is to 3 and 3 cancels off, and we get 1. So the answer is going to be 15 is to 1. So this is going to be the final answer. Let's go to the second one. The second one, it says that we have 2 is to 1/4. 2 is to 1/4. Now, what do we do here is that we should get rid of this denominator 4. 2 is to 1/4. We should get rid of this 4. So what we do is we multiply 4 to both sides. So then what is the answer we get? 4 times 2 is going to be 8. And this 4 and 4 gets cancelled off, and we get 1. So the answer is going to be 8 is to 1. Okay, your turn. Try this on your own. 1/2 is to 1/3. Pause the video and try this on your own. But this question is actually a little bit tricky. So because there are 2 and 3, so therefore the denominators are actually very different. So what we should do is we should use the LCM to multiply both sides by a common number. The reason I'll tell you later, but actually we should find the LCM of 2 and 3 first. So this is the way to find LCM. So first of all, you draw this division mark, upside down division actually, and write 2 and 3. And then you should divide by the nearest prime number. So if 2 is the nearest prime number, the lowest prime number, so this 2 can be divided by 2, then the 1 is remaining. But 3 cannot be divided, so we'll keep it that way. Now 1 and 3 is remaining, so now the next prime number is going to be 3, right? So it's going to be 1 and 1. So therefore, the LCM is going to be equals to 2 times 3. 2 times 3. So it's going to be 6. Therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to write half is to 1/3, and I'm going to multiply both sides by 6. Why did I multiply both sides by 6? Because the LCM of 2 and 3 is actually 6. So we get 6 divided by 2 is to 6 divided by 3. 3 is to 2. This is the answer. So what do we do here is that what we did was we actually looked at the denominators and we thought, these are not common. So what do we do instead? These are not common. So what do we do instead is that we go in the LCM way. So what we do is we actually put 2 and 3 and put in a cage, and then gradually increase the prime factors until we get 1, 1. And then we find the LCM and then apply this there. So that is what we usually did. So that is what we generally did here. Okay, let's do the fourth one. Okay, the fourth one says that the fourth one says that 3/4 is to 1/4. So now this will be easy for you. So I guess you can do this on your own. Give it a try. So what happens is that we have 3/4 is to 1/4. Actually, the denominators are same. So what we should do is our main goal is to cancel off the denominators and make whole numbers, right? So what we do is we actually multiply both sides by 4. Super easy. Why do we multiply both sides by 4? Why do we do that? To cancel off the denominators because they are a nuisance. So we get 3 is to 1. I'll write it from blue color. 3 is to 1. The fifth one says that 1/3 is to 3/4. Now, using the LCM method, can you find this answer? Okay, let's see. So using the LCM method, what we did was we have 3, we have 4. And the nearest prime is going to be 2. 3 cannot be divided by 2, but 4 can be. We again take by 2, 3, 1, and then 3, 1, 1. So therefore, the LCM is going to be how much? 2 times 2 times 3. 6 times 2 is 12. So this 12 is going to be the answer. So therefore, we have 12 as the LCM. Keep that in mind. 12 is the LCM. 12 is the LCM. Now what we do is we actually write this ratio. We write this ratio as it is. 1/3 is to 3/4. And we multiply both sides by what number? 12. Why do we multiply by 12? Because we actually got the LCM as 12. We got it seconds ago, right? So 12 is to 1/3. So 12 over 3 is to 3/4 over 12, 36 over 12. Second, 36 over 4. It's going to be 4 is to 9. Right. Let's go for the next one. So the sixth one says that 7/12 is to 5/6. Okay, can you do this question? 7/12 is to 5/6. Okay, let's see. What's the difference between 12 and 6 actually? So 6 times 2 is 12, right? So what we should do is we should keep 7/12 as it is. And the 5/6 we should multiply top and bottom by 2 to make the denominator 12. Why did I do that? Why did I do that? Because then we can simply cancel off by multiplying both sides. I will show you how to do it. So 7/12 is to 10 over 12. Now what do we do? We multiply both sides by 12. So now what do we get? We get 7 is to 10. What about the seventh question? Seventh question says 5/4 is to 6/7. How do you do this? What we do is we actually find the LCM of both sides. So actually we can find the LCM of the sixth question too, but this method is super easy because finding the LCM between 12 and 6 is actually time consuming. So 5/4 to 6/7 LCM. So you can do this in rough sheet. So LCM 4, 7 to 2, 7. 7 times 2 times 2. 14 times 2 is 28. So the LCM is going to be 28. So what we actually do is actually we multiply both sides by 28. Why 28? Because 28 is the LCM of 4 and 7. But why do we multiply by 28? Can't we multiply by any other number? That's a nice question, but if you're multiplying by any other number, chances are that you will make the question more difficult. So it's better to multiply by the LCM itself. So 4 times 1, 4 times 7, 7 times 1, 7 times 4. Then the answer is going to be 7 times 5 is to 6 times 4. The answer is going to be 35 is to 24. Do we have any common factors? No, we don't. So this is going to be the answer, final answer. The eighth question says that 3 is to 4/3. I bet you can do this easily. I'll give you a moment to do this question. Okay, I think you have done the question. So 3 is to 4/3. What do? We actually multiply both sides by 3. Why do we do that? Why do we do that? Because we should get rid of this denominator, right? So this is actually a fraction, and we need whole numbers in this ratio. So to get these whole numbers, we should cancel off the denominators and keep on the numerators so that they'll become whole numbers. So 3 times 2 is going to be 9 is to 4. The ninth question. The ninth question has somewhat tricky. It's 2 2/3 is to 1 and 1/6. Okay, how do you do this question? First of all, don't think too much. What you should do is you should convert these fractions into improper fractions, right? Because these are in mixed forms. So what we do is we actually put the denominators here, and using the conversion 3 times 2 plus 2, here it's going to be 6 times 1 plus 1. Now what did I do here is that I actually multiplied this, and I added this. The same thing I did for this as well. Multiply this and add this. So the answers are going to be 6 plus 2, 8. 8 thirds is to 7 sixths. Now what do we do? 3 and 6, they're actually very similar numbers. I mean, not similar, but they're close. So we multiply by 2 to make it 6. Then 8 times 2 is 16 over 6 is to 7 over 6. Then you multiply both sides by 6. And we get the answer as 16 is to 7. All right. Time for the last question, 10th question. Two thirds. Oops. 2 thirds is to 7 fifteenths. Now again, 15 and 3. Use the common sense. 3 times how much is 15? 3 times 5 is 15. So what we do is we actually write this again. And we multiply this by 5 to get 15. So this is going to be 10 over 15 is to 7 over 15. Now we multiply both sides by 15 to get rid of these numbers, the down numbers, right? So we have 150 is to 7 times 15. Now, these numbers are too big, right? So what do we do? What we do is we actually, oh wait, sorry. Oops. Now what we do is actually we cut these numbers. It's easily cuttable. And then we have the answer 10 is to 7. Okay, an extra question. So this is actually a challenge. Challenge. Oops. It's not going well. It's fine. So let's have a new question. 1/6. 1/6 is to 1/8 is to 1/12. So what you should do is you should, I don't know, you should make this into simpler form. You must reduce this ratio into simplest form. So how do you do that? I'll give you some time to do you have in your mind? The easiest way to go is to go in the LCM mode. So 6, 8, 12. If you go in LCM, so the nearest, so the smallest prime number is going to be 2, right? So 2. So it's going to be 3, 4, 6. Again, 2. 3, 2, 6. Again, 2. 3, 1, 6. Now 3. 1, 1, 2. Again 2. 1, 1, 1. So now we get the LCM is a big number. LCM is going to be, I will write the number straight away because now we are familiar with this stuff. So 2 times 2 times 3 times 2. How much is it going to be? 2 times 2 times 2, 2 times 2, 4, 4 times 2, 8, 8, 16, 24, 24 times 2 is going to be 56. Sorry, 48. 4 times 2, 8, 24, 48. Oops, 48. All right, so now because the LCM is 48, we multiply the entire thing by 48. How do we do that? There are 3 numbers. What do we do? Okay, I'll show you how to do that. So what you usually do is we have 3 numbers, so you just treat it just like you treat any other ratios. So 1/6 is to 1/8 is to 1/12. We actually multiply the entire thing by 48. So we multiply each and every ratio by 48. So now how much did you get now? I don't want to cut anything, but to get simpler, so 6 times how much is 48? 6 times 8 is 48. 48 is going to be 6. 4. So if you simplify this, it's going to be 4 is to 3 is to 2 because you divided the entire thing by 2. So this is the answer. All right, so I think you understood how to simplify ratios, especially when there are fractions in it. Okay, see you next time.